just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, but he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys would come in and say,
oh, God. So I'm me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around, who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team.
6 minutes.
For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her and smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
I'm late. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle?
My dad tell you about that.
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Look at
Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, November 27th. Welcome back from Thanksgiving. I know everybody probably has those Monday hangovers. I was talking about this before the show. It's very, like the Thanksgiving holiday, God bless you.
Oh, really?
One more?
Oh, Sammy.
Okay.
Oh, Sammy Sosa.
I was saying this before the show. Thanksgiving holiday is like so weird because it's almost like a full week, right? Yeah, you only get Thursday and Friday technically off of work. Wednesday's basically off of work. And then nobody else Monday, Tuesday is really doing much. So it's like you kind of have a whole week of like checking out from reality, and then you get back on Monday and you're like, oh, I gotta do this again.
Let me
Gotta
check
get
that
back
email.
on. Yeah, and you're hungover, your food hungover from the weekend, all those types of things. But we're back, regularly scheduled programming today on
Mitch
Monday.
is back.
Huh?
Mitch is back.
Jay Mitch is back.
Back in
Welcome
town.
back. It was a long trip for you.
Long trip.
8 days in the mountainous
Yeah,
West
in the
Virginia.
mountain country up there, yeah.
Aren't you from Tennessee?
Watch
First time loving the
Yeah, it was a long time. It was good, really good. I ate a whole bunch, drank a
That's
good
how it
amount.
works?
Yeah, it was good.
Tell you what, I drink a lot of whiskey throughout the weekend. It was chilly, perfect whiskey drinking weather. I enjoyed
I
that,
spent a lot of time out by the fire. Oh, it was
which is great.
Oh,
you
it's
don't
great.
get that.
You don't get that
it's
too much
probably a
here.
little chilly out
Yeah,
there, huh?
yeah.
Like pretty
It
cold?
really wasn't that cold. It was 2 years ago when I went. It was way colder. It was high 30s, low 40s for the most part. Like it wasn't that bad.
Morgantown, not much over there.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, it's it's a good time to go to pass through. Yeah, it was good. It was
Pass through
It was good. It was good.
Pass
It
through
was good.
town.
It's her namesake.
How was your Thanksgiving, Lloyd?
Good. I was proud of the family. No knockdown dragouts. We usually have a kerfuffle or two, but everybody was on their best behavior.
Y'all? No
Sit
way.
by,
It
yeah.
must have been light on the liquor
Are you
then.
the one usually stirring the pot there? You're the one.
My brother wasn't there, so I like to blame it on him most of the time.
Okay.
Who tends to stir the pot. So
Yeah,
I like
okay.
to sit back and let it come. Let the party come to me.
I'm sure
Uh-huh.
you do. But we're all back here. We got to get back to our job, which is talking sports. LSU obviously finishes their season 9-3, 7-0 at home. Jayden Daniels. Now the things that you look forward to in the LSU football season are the Heisman Trophy. Obviously, Jayden Daniels is going to be finalist. I think he should be the front runner, but Vegas came out with the odds. He is the slight. He's in second place slightly behind Bo Nix, which we'll get into that conversation throughout the show. But LSU comes out. They were down 24-14 at one point in the third quarter. They and look, it wasn't terrible 24-14. It's kind of a weird 24-14. A&M played as good as they could do early in the game. They did exactly what they wanted to do, keep LSU off the field, don't give the offense the ball too much. They stopped LSU a couple times early in the first half. And then when they went up 24-14, Jayden Daniels gets a 4th and 4, runs 50 yards, and that was kind of the game. They scored, made it 24-21. A&M misses a field goal after they drive down there, a stop, and then after that, it was all LSU. 42-30 was the final. Vegas had the line ended at 12, so gotta buy it down. You gotta buy it down to 11.5, right?
That's the gambling
That's
101
what
right
it is.
there.
Obviously Malik Neighbors just short of the school record receiving yards. He will play in the bowl game, so it seems like that record is about to be broken. Jayden Daniels did everything he could win the Heisman. I think he's a front runner. We will get into that. A lot of coaching hirings and firings.
And almost.
And almost a very A&M hiring process. Rumor is that Mark Stoops was actually on the tarmac in A&M, ready to go.
Bags
and
are
they
packed.
said, hey, sorry, just joking. Go ahead, go back. Our fans didn't like that, so
We got another guy.
we're going to bring in Mike Elko, who was a defensive coordinator at A&M. He is back. He is now the head coach. They did some weird little, the whole rocking thing at his press
I
conference.
got it pulled up.
Very A&M. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Mistake of the day, potentially.
Potentially.
Very A&M-esque. And so, Jeff Lebby, offensive coordinator for Oklahoma. They had a really good offense this year. He is now the head coach at Mississippi State. So a lot of moving around in college, a lot of moving around in the NFL. We're going to get to all of this. But before we do, it is Monday. Hopefully we have a lot more of these Mondays, but we don't really know what the future holds for this segment, which I think it's going to be future's bright, I think, for this segment. It's going to be maybe make some adjustments as we move.
Yeah.
Different sports. College football is coming to an end. But with the G team, our attorney, our educator, our Law 101 professor, Keith Accardo. Welcome back. How was your Thanksgiving, sir?
It was great. We had all the family was over there, big Italian family.
Yep.
So,
Italian.
Yeah, we got the pasta and everything there.
Oh, so
along
y'all
with
do
the
an
turkey.
Italian Thanksgiving?
We have all the regular dishes, but you have the Italian
So what's the
dishes
Italian?
too.
What's the Italian addition to Thanksgiving spread?
So typically we have like a lasagna or red gravy or something
Oh.
like that.
I
Little
dig
meatballs and
that.
spaghetti along with all the turkey.
How does that mix?
Look,
Yeah, how does that mix?
Ask the
though?
nap. Yeah, that's how
it's pretty good. I mean, maybe I'm just used to it, but I'm all in
Okay.
on it.
All right. I like that. What was your thoughts on the game? Were you at the game? No, you couldn't. You weren't at the game. You're hunting. It was 11 a.m. It's tough to do both.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on the game?
So, I mean, like you said, I thought Texas A&M had a good game plan. They were trying to do everything that they could to keep the ball out of Jayden's hands. I mean, that when you're trying to beat LSU, that's obviously the best move to make. You know, but again, we scored 42 points. Offense is doing what we expect them to do. And, you know,
42 and kneeling it down inside the 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, easily could have said, hey, Jayden's going for the Heisman. Instead of running the football early in the game and giving your running backs a touchdown, instead of kneeling at the end of the game, maybe we could have added a couple more touchdowns. They didn't, which is commendable.
Yeah.
Respectful.
Even though I wanted to, you know,
Of course.
step on their throat a little
doubt.
bit. But
No doubt.
I get it. I get it. You know, and that's a good defense we played.
Yeah.
That was, you know, I think probably the best defense that we've seen. And we still put up 42 on them.
Yeah.
Defensively, from our perspective, you know, you gave up 30 points, but when you look at it, you did make some timely plays.
And the second half was way better.
Yeah.
I feel like the linebackers played really well as far as compared to what they've played throughout the course of the year. When I say really well, it's relative.
Right, yeah.
Right, to the season, right? You said Greg Penn had a big one-handed interception late in the game.
Had to have
that
it.
was a huge
Yeah.
turning point in the game, right? That kind of like put LSU
Needed one
in the
momentum
driver's
play.
Was that?
Needed one momentum play.
One, yeah, one big play. Harold Perkins was probably his best all-around game of the year.
He was flying
in
the
coverage
ball.
everywhere,
Yeah.
9 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss. He had a half a sack. Like, he did what he's been doing all year, right?
Right.
You know, you saw Weeks in the game a whole lot more. He was back.
Foot's
healthy-
better.
Healthy, apparently. You know, portal starting to heat up, so I'm sure they're trying to keep some of these guys. You know, the other linebackers did what they needed to do. I felt like the secondary tackled okay.
Sage Ryan even stepped up, made a couple
yeah,
nice plays
yeah.
when necessary.
So it was good. I felt like the defense was
Taviano was good.
Taviano was good. He's been flying around. I feel like he's
Yeah.
getting more comfortable game in and game out.
It's a shame it's happening so late in the
It's
year.
okay. Next year.
He's more comfortable now.
Yeah, we're comfortable now.
Ready for the Nike Car Care Bowl.
It's crazy what happens when you give a guy his opportunity early, or not early, but you know how it is.
Often.
It's freshman. We've had these conversations.
Gotta earn it.
Take some time. You know, but the end of the season 9-3, going to the bowl game to win to get 10 wins. All in all, going to be probably a very successful season. You know, there's going to be some coaching rumors here. I think Matt House is safe, but I think everybody else, there's going to be a lot of movement on the other position coaches on the defense.
The yard's not safe.
We'll see.
Probably
The
gonna
yard's
see-
not safe, but the lead man, Hefe,
Yeah.
on the defense side is safe. But you're here to talk about the law.
Because after
talked-
football season comes,
Hunting season.
That's right.
And we talked about if it flies, it dies. You know, when you're out there, if it flies, it dies. Yeah, but to an extent.
To an extent.
There are some rules and regulations in place to keep people from going out there and killing every single bird that they see.
Right.
And you're here to kind of educate the public, because we're in South Louisiana. People love to hunt. Love to hunt. It's a
People in
livelihood
South
down here.
Louisiana like to kill.
This is the thing, right? So what are some of these rules when it comes to hunting? There's limits. Obviously, you have heads per gun, how many people you can shoot. How many people? How many birds you can shoot? Hopefully,
It's a
you're not
different
shooting
kind of
any
law.
It'd be an issue.
people. Hopefully, you're not shooting any people. What are some of these laws that people need to know about if they're going to go out there and kind of dabble in the hunting game?
Right. So there's obviously a bunch of laws that revolve specifically around hunting and, you know, and fishing and things like that. And, you know, one of those laws, and one of the most important, has to do with the limit of animals that you can take. For ducks, for example, you limit
muted.
6 a person, okay? And, you know, that's one of the bigger laws that we have to follow. So it kind of varies. Like there's certain ducks, like a pintail, for example, you can take 1 a person, but you can shoot 6 teal in your limit. So it all depends. Like gray ducks, you can kill 6. Mallards are 4, and you can only kill 2 females out of those 4.
So you better be experienced and know what you're looking at.
Right, you gotta be able to practice and see what you're looking at, and know what's flying.
Yep.
Spoonbills?
What's that?
Spoonbills?
Spoonies, you can kill 6.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of those things, it feels like.
They're trying to get rid of themselves. They're not the most intelligent duck out there.
It's good practice for the youngins.
So all the duck laws and dove laws and things like geese, that all falls under what we call the Migratory Bird Treaty Act.
Right.
Okay. And when you violate those laws, in particular with the possession limits, there are a couple things that can happen. One, you're going to have to pay what we call a civil restitution. Okay. Right. And that's a payment to the state or to Wildlife and Fisheries in particular as to what they value that particular game animal as. Okay. And then 2, you're also going to have to pay the charge or potentially the jail time for whatever the actual violation was. Now, if you pay that fine, that goes to the judicial district where the violation happened. And one thing people always talk about when you're talking about violating game laws or that conversation comes up is, they always say, oh, well, the agent's going to take my gun or take my truck or my boat or something like that along with any fines. Now, how that works is the wildlife agent has discretion to seize your gun or any other type of equipment that you used in commission of committing that crime of going over the limit or, shooting before shooting hours or after shooting hours or whatever.
Right.
Now, when it comes to taking your truck or your boat or, an airplane, whatever, any mode of travel, the way the law reads, the agent shall seize the boat or the car. Now,
What does that mean?
so
This is very lawyer speak here.
Yeah, it is, and so when the law reads shall, it means they have to. So when they come across someone that's violated something like this, they have to
Take your mode of transportation.
Now, in reality, the way that this works is they typically don't just take your truck and say, all right, well, now screw you, you're on your own, find your way home. They're going to seize it on paper, okay? And it's kind of a way to make sure that you're going to pay the fines for whatever that crime
So they allow you
was
to
that
drive
violated.
home.
Yeah, they'll allow you to drive home. But, if you don't pay those fines, there may be other repercussions along with that, including, actually possessing that truck or that boat or whatever it is.
So,
Honda Accord.
well, I don't think you're hunting. I don't think you're going duck hunting in a Accord. Maybe though.
Land Rover.
You could do that in Land Rover. It's it's made for the terrain.
You'd be surprised when people try to hunt in.
Oh, I can imagine. It's not very economical. Maybe though.
Not really practical.
Yeah, practical is probably the better term. Now, there's obviously not just laws for duck hunting, right? There's all types of game, I guess, right?
Right.
What, do you know any of the laws that pertain to? I said, do you know? What are some of the laws that pertain to some other types of hunting that are popular down here in Louisiana?
Yeah, so the shooting time laws, for example, and this, is a law that a lot of people don't realize. With shooting time, like for deer, for example, or other what we call quadrupeds or 4-legged animals, okay, is 30 minutes before sunrise and 30 minutes after sunset. And that's for a lot of different game species. Now, for ducks, compared to all of that, or other migratory birds, you can shoot 30 minutes before sunrise, and the shooting time stops at sunset. Now, a lot of people get themselves into trouble
When they try wait a little longer.
well, they
fire
think
too
they
early.
know what the law is, and they're like, oh, well, when I'm deer hunting, I can shoot 30 minutes after sunset. Well, for ducks, that's not the case. It is stopped at sunset. Well, your best duck flight is probably those 30 minutes after sunset.
Right.
And so they end up getting caught shooting after legal shooting hours. And that is obviously a problem.
Is there an issue?
Why'd you look to Jared? Do you think he's going to be in big
No,
in this
I was looking to
conversation?
see if anybody had any type of question. But you talked about limits, right? You talked about them seizing. Is there you're 1 or 2 over, or is it like, hey, if you're 5, 6, 7, 8 over, do you get like a slap on the wrist? Is it first time? Boom.
So typically, the more over you are, the worse it's going to get for you.
Right.
You know, that's when the judge is going to drop the hammer down. Like, for, let's say, a deer, for example. A deer may be worth X amount of money, and you've got to pay the civil restitution on that one deer. But if you shoot 5, now you've got to pay
5 times that.
5 times that. And the way Louisiana works, the bigger, the more quality the deer is that you kill that was illegal,
The more expensive it is.
the worse you're going to get hit for.
It's like they're personally offended.
Yeah,
That could have been my deer.
Protect the deer.
Yeah.
The state values that deer has a monetary value to the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
And that's why they're dropping the hammer.
And now,
on
if
you
something were
hard.
to happen, right? If someone were to get into this type of predicament, and they have to fight for themselves, is this something that the G team handles?
Typically, we don't handle things like that, but we can always help at least point you in the right direction.
Yep, because it's pretty hard. Like, if you kill too many, you kill too many.
Right.
Like, hard not to, unless
It's not my duck.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Hard not to,
That thing's been dead. I saw it when I was doing that.
but having the right information
It always helps.
and pointing in the right direction always helps. Obviously, maybe there's ways that they can lessen penalties or whatever that may
Squish
be.
it.
But obviously, the South Louisiana is a big hunting community.
Absolutely.
Big hunting area. So it's nice to know these laws, nice to know these regulations, and it's for the betterment of the state of Louisiana. So
Yes, indeed.
if you're an avid hunter or you're an amateur hunter or you dabble in the hunting game like me, be very familiar with these, because you do not want to pay the fines for not really understanding what you can and cannot do.
Right.
So we appreciate that. What are you going to do now that football season's over with, dude?
I think that hunt with the
Yeah,
Well, Saints stink, so like
They're awful. They're so miserable to watch. I'm so over that. I mean, miserable. I'm a hunt hard the rest of the year.
I was in the camp of like, and look, me and Jared talked about this a lot. I don't like saying, oh, fire this person, fire that person.
Fire them all.
I mean, it's not. There's no positives right now with New Orleans.
Not a single one.
Well,
not one.
Jameis pregame.
The rapping? No, that was halftime, right?
That was pregame. Ludacris is still up in the sky.
It's the only entertaining thing about the games.
Yeah, and he should be on the field. Not Ludacris, Jameis. What's really the difference?
I don't think that's the issue. I don't think that's going to make.
No.
I think the play calling is going to be the same. The designs are going to be the same. I think that either one is going to be. Now, you may get some more chances down, but we've seen Jameis enough. I feel like he's not the answer.
I think they've scored 3 touchdowns.
Maybe Jayden's the answer.
They've scored 3 touchdowns their last 2 games, 2 of which from Jameis, 1 from Taysom. Who's your starting quarterback?
Okay, yes, I'm with you. I understand. I get your point. Maybe Jayden Daniels. They haven't drafted a first-round quarterback since.
I wouldn't hate to see it.
Archie?
I don't even think was Archie. Yeah, I guess he was the last time they drafted a first-round quarterback. Was that 68 or something?
I can tell you right now, that's what's definitely not going to happen.
No.
They're not drafting
I don't
Jayden.
know why we're talking about. That's what's definitely not.
No, no
You haven't
doubt.
seen
As
the
much
left.
money as they'll take in cap hits right now. What they just gave Carr, he's here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
My point is we're not
No,
going to
no,
draft
no,
Jayden
right.
to sit on the side.
Right,
So you
I'm
better
with you.
draft
Yeah,
somebody
Go
here.
get me a nice offensive coordinator. Bring him in here. Change the whole offense. Make this work.
And that right guard for James Madison's probably looking lush right now, top 10 for the Saints. Yeah. Somebody off the board.
From Saskatchewan
Somebody
University.
we haven't heard about yet.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan University. Up
He
there.
actually plays rugby in New Zealand, but
We're getting to project. We're gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
first
We're
round
gonna develop
project. I
them.
love those.
Yeah, we're good at this.
Those
Keith,
7th round picks hit though.
hey, they've been hitting. We appreciate you as always. We appreciate coming in on Mondays. Hopefully, we see a lot more of you throughout the course of the fall and.
What's your
spring,
baseball acumen?
What's that?
Baseball acumen?
I don't know baseball nearly as well as I do football, but I love it. It's rare that I miss a Tiger
That's even
baseball
better though.
game.
We can talk about it. We can educate you.
That's right.
There you go.
I'm all in on it.
101, no doubt. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, dude. Enjoy.
Appreciate it.
Good luck going back to work this week.
Yeah.
See you next week.
All right.
All right, man.
Yeah, I'll
Later.
take it easy.
Later.
Thank you.
It's also Monday, which means it's also Moffit Method Monday. So, coming in the 2-hole. Coach Time Moffit. Okay, you're the only one who's immature and thinks that way.
What?
I mean, the lineup, you're ridiculous. But, Coach,
Yeah, don't entertain it, dude. Just don't.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming back on.
Happy to be here.
I'm feeling a little sore. We'll get into this because, the Moffit method kind of whooped my ass today. We're gonna go through that. We're gonna let you explain how this thing happened and what worked. You had a great Thanksgiving.
Great, phenomenal Thanksgiving. We had two. Thanksgiving Day, we went to NOLA, to Jill's mom's house. All of her family were there. It was tough.
I loved it.
Oh my gosh, it was so good, and ate up big time. Visited with the family. It was a good time. And then Friday, Clay and I got up early, went hunting, killed a hogzilla.
Y'all did both, right?
Yeah, no. Again, I won. Clay didn't kill anything.
Yeah, you were the one who supplied the food for the family to eat that night.
Yeah.
Not him.
So got back and had another Thanksgiving on Friday at our house. We always do two, so we always go, and sometimes we've done three. The Moffits aren't afraid to grub. So had a phenomenal Thanksgiving.
Got to feed the body.
Yeah.
Eat well. Obviously, you're at the LSU game.
Yeah.
Up in the
suites.
suites. I didn't make it all the way to where you're at, but I was up there. I was roaming.
Yeah.
I was doing my thing. You watch the game. Obviously, it's a lot more enjoyable for you up in the suite than in the stadium because you don't kind of feel the ambiance really when you're in the suites as much as you do in the stadium. LSU's down 24-14. From that point, they kind of dominated the rest of the game, won 42-30. You feel like Jayden's done enough to win the Heisman?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't see how, if you look at his stats, the greatest player isn't always on the greatest team.
Right.
And it just happens that way sometimes. But he's done more than enough to win the Heisman Trophy. All you have to do is look at his stats, look at how the team responds when he's on the field, the way he carries himself. Absolutely. I think he's done everything he needs to do.
When you watched him coming into the year and the way he's kind of matured through this season and the way the steam kind of started and it almost seemed like it just got thicker and thicker and thicker as he played, what has been the most impressive thing that you saw about him from day one of this season to where it ended at?
Yeah, physically, I think he's gotten more dynamic as the season's gone on, because he's gained confidence. When he tucks it and runs, there's nobody out there that is going to run with him. He's dynamic with the ball in his hand. And then, he's not afraid to take a hit. But the main thing is the confidence that he has developed in himself and all the guys around him have developed. They started the season, man, and they started off rough. And he's progressed, and he takes the field with confidence. Even his press conferences, when he's on, he speaks with more confidence. And I think confidence has been the biggest thing. And the team has confidence. The offensive line, the way they block for him, the way the receivers, and it's a lot like 2019. When you have those type of receivers and the depth that they do at running back and the big physical offensive line, good things are going to happen.
Yeah.
You talked about the offensive line. Will Campbell's stat came out from PFF football. Will Campbell, I don't know the exact number of snaps played, but however many snaps played, which he played every game, 0 sacks given up on the year. How impressive is that?
Yeah. He is a mammoth, and I laugh because after the tailgate, when the Purple Helmet shut down on Saturday, we were walking back to our car, and we saw Will and his parents. And he is such a great kid, but he is a mountain of a man. Like, he is a mountain. And he gives the defenders a lot of problems because of his reach, his size, his mobility. He is phenomenal. And when you have somebody like that that's protecting the quarterback, that confidence goes a long way because and there were times when Jayden was just standing back there,
Right.
and nobody was even around him. And he could have run the ball more, I thought, than what he did. But I could understand why he doesn't, because when you've got the receivers and Josh really does a good job of catching the ball out of the backfield. So you got a lot of targets.
Right.
So, yeah, it's unbelievable to have a guy that big. And you know that you've got him another year. You've got Emory another year. So those two, yeah.
And then you have another 5
Yeah,
sets.
Hurd, you got Hurd for 2 more years.
2 more years.
And then the way the recruiting is going, you're just going to keep stacking offensive linemen on top of one another. And that's LSU has always been great when you have big men up front on both sides of the ball, and they've got them on offense for sure.
So I think one of the most underrated but one of the most important things there is to building a really good program is being dominant at home, right?
Yeah.
7-0 this season.
Yeah.
You know, like I know, like through the best times of what have been LSU football outside of 2019, that was a huge thing, a home winning streak, and being able to show up in Tiger Stadium and walking out almost seamlessly every time with a win. Like, it's what it felt like. It's what the entire state felt like. It's what people who showed up on campus felt like. I'm showing up. I know they're going to win today. How important is that they were able to go 7-0 at home this year, and being able to, how's that outlook look forward into their future going into next year?
Yeah, so that is a big momentum boost, because you hear about the tradition of Tiger Stadium, and there used to be a sign in the chute that says, it's not the fans that make Tiger Stadium what it is, it's the Tigers. And it's how the Tigers play determine how the fans' reactions are to the game. And I get goosebumps when I think about it, because there's nothing better. There's childbirth, getting married to my wife. But other than that,
The given.
Let me walk that back a second.
yeah. But I got goosebumps there for a second when Jared was talking about that, because there's nothing like getting a win, or just when you score your first touchdown, when you score right before the half, when you score on the first drive coming out. And the better the Tigers play, the better the fans respond. Yeah. And, there was some, we heard some stuff early in the game, and I was like, wait, we've got a whole nother quarter going, and the fans are starting to get rowdy, So, it's amazing knowing that your team is playing that well, that you're going to beat the brakes off of somebody every time they step foot in that stadium. And it's tough when you're on the road, when you go to places to play that has a home winning streak like that. It's tough to play. It's, when you get off the bus, you know what you're in store, or what's in store for you. So, yeah, it's phenomenal to have that type of energy in Death Valley when the Tigers are playing good.
It brings a little added pressure, because it's, when you show up, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, you realize, like, hey, they've won their last 7. Hey, they've won their last 14 here. Don't let them start playing with the lead. You know what happens here. And teams start to feel that, and they start to play tighter. It's a real thing.
And then you get a little chippier. Like this game this past weekend was like, I watched it, and you could see it. And then I was watching a little bit back today to kind of like refresh kind of what happened. I was like, damn, I knew it was chippy, but I feel like every play, and the referees let some of it go, right? Some of like the shoves to the face mask or whatever go, which I'm good with, right? As long as it doesn't get out of hand. But like every play, it seemed like somebody was talking shit to somebody. Yeah. Somebody was getting a little jab in at the end. That's just kind of what comes with territory.
Yeah. If you got any, I used to tell them, if you got any hate in your heart, let it out.
In between the whistle, let it roll.
Yeah. Like, don't hold back. And that's the way. So that's the way. What do they call it? Rivalry Saturday. What is it they call it?
That's basically it. Yeah, it's like rivalry weekend.
Yeah, rivalry weekend or whatever. But it's a border war, and both teams are in the Western Division, and both teams are fighting for respect. Those players individually, every one of those guys. They don't want to lose. It doesn't matter who your coach is. If you've got anything about you, you don't want to lose. and Jill was downplaying the game going in the stadium. I'm like, those guys are going to play their butts off.
Oh yeah.
And we had some super fans in the some really good fans, but I mean super fans that were in the suite with us, and they were talking smack to there was a guy in the suite with us that had some A&M gear on, and they were talking smack to the guy, and I was like, man, I wouldn't be saying that. I mean this. And they were like, they don't have a coach and all this, and I'm like, it's still Texas A&M,
right?
Like,
still got the players.
And then halfway through the first half, the guy's like looking at me like, "Oh, you weren't kidding, were you?" So yeah.
Before we go, because I have some questions about the state of college football, right? Some changes before we go.
You can ask me anything.
I love that's what we love. About
Yeah.
it. You're open book to an extent. I don't want. I'm not. Nobody's trying to get in trouble over here. But we've watched this team, and obviously a lot is being said about the defense, right?
Yeah.
Defense obviously was, below average, was not up to par, not up to LSU standards. And so there's going to be some changes made, right?
Yeah.
That is the rumors. The rumor is Matt House is going to be here next year. The position coaches around him may change. Matt House is in charge of the linebackers as well as calling the defense. And I was speaking before, we were talking a little bit before, and there's not much to really like about what the defense did this year. For me, the linebacker position wasn't great, but as far as some of these guys like developing and kind of playing better and making plays, it feels like the linebacker position kind of did that. Greg Penn had the one-handed interception, which was a big play. Seems like as the year went on, he played better. Weeks got back in the lineup. But I think the one guy that everybody was expecting to have this breakout season, his sack numbers and all of those numbers may not be what you expected. But if you really look at it, he had 70 tackles. He had 13 and a half tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, 6 pass breakups. I think that's the crazy thing. It's like he's covering receivers and slot guys, and he's step for step with them. That's a pretty rare type of guy that you have in college, and the way they're utilizing it, I'm sure they can figure out ways to utilize them better. But what you saw from that position group, him in particular, as he progressed throughout the year, that's something that's pretty encouraging moving forward, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it gives you a core group of guys on the defense to build your squad around. They've definitely got to get deeper. They got to recruit more guys for the secondary. I mean, they've got a lot of work to do on defense just on the personnel side of the ball. So they got to make sure that they recruit well in the secondary. And then they've got to get some defensive linemen that can get some push and put pressure on the quarterback. So they've got their work cut out for them. But when you have a core group of guys, especially when you have a group of guys like they've got now at that position, it makes for a good offseason to build upon. Yeah.
What are you expecting to see out of that group bowl game time?
Ooh, so that's something that I've given a lot of thought to today because, it's this time of the year. In the NFL, they call it Black Monday. I don't know what they call Sunday in college football because I never really had to worry about it but once. But
thank God.
Yeah. Thank God. Yeah. So the phones.
That was early too.
Yeah. Well, that was by design. So the phones and the text messages have been going like a wildfire the last 2 days, and you have the transfer portal. So it's I hope LSU isn't hit hard with the portal because you just don't know who's going to play in the game.
Right.
You just don't know.
Right.
It's crazy that is the way it is now, So it used to be when the season was over, if you didn't go to the SEC championship, it gave you an extra, the way I looked at it gave you an extra week to train, an extra week to get guys healthy before you started bowl practice. And, you do a little concentrated block of strength training and a bunch of sprint work. But now you're worrying about who you're going to line up with and at what position because, it basically boils down to the highest bidder. And, one of the things that when Max Johnson, and it didn't dawn on me, but when I saw Max Johnson's tweet that he was transferring, that he was entering the portal, I thought, why would Max Johnson leave Texas A&M, and then, because he was injured, but, he got better as the season went on. But then I realized if Mike Elko gets the job, the quarterback from Duke is coming with him.
No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt.
Right with him, so.
And then it didn't dawn on me until yesterday, that's why Max is leaving.
Right.
Or that's why I think Max is leaving. So, it would be great that you kept everyone and you continue to improve and get better. But you just don't know, man. It's hard to say these days. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Right. So it's so interesting you bring that up. You have a 10-win season in year one of Brian Kelly. You have hopefully a 10-win season in year two of Brian Kelly. I think that kind of situation is what makes this job such a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
What makes this conference so tough is because it's the proverbial year three next year.
Yeah, I
Year
know.
three's a
Everybody's
huge
won.
year.
Yeah,
and it's not
you
like
have to win a national championship.
it is, and it's not like you went in with a 7-win season and you backed it up with a 9-win season. It's very obvious that anyone and everyone that has any sort of expectation for LSU that is a fan of LSU, it's going to be, we need to see 11 wins plus, which would put you in that playoff situation, right? From a 30K view, how would you, at this point right now, obviously I know you're not deep into the recruiting situation, how would you make this team better and help this defense out?
Yeah. So, again, you've got to recruit some really good corners. You got to recruit the secondary and the guys up front, and you've got to go to the portal. You don't have time to develop, and that's
that's the craziest part of it, right?
I know.
Yeah.
You don't have time to develop guys. Now, we had 2 really good players in the secondary committed to us that could have been players, but we lost those guys. And, Sage has played incredibly well, but you still have got to go to the portal and you've got to find some players.
Yep.
And it's going to cost you, too.
Yep.
You'd imagine that with A&M having some
Turnover.
turnover, some of those recruits that they have committed to them maybe flip. Some of those guys that maybe were neck and neck, LSU's neck and neck with A&M. Some of those guys that are on that team already that are LSU guys, that are Baton Rouge, Louisiana players. You'd imagine they could potentially move. Then you got to re-recruit some of the guys on your team, keep them there. But they have an early signing day, which is next weekend, the 6th. I think is that the weekend? I don't know. Whenever the 6th is. No. The 6th is like a Wednesday.
Weekend, yeah.
It's like a Wednesday, right? It wasn't always that way. You always had to wait till February. Now you have a December and then February. Majority of your guys are probably going to sign in December. How do you prep with that, right? Because you have recruiting. You have these guys coming in. Last little bit of officials. Then you have a dead period. But then you have to prepare for a bowl game. How does that work?
So, the coaches, and I'm sure this hasn't changed. The coaches are on the road recruiting now.
Yep.
Right.
And it's just it's Jake Flint, his staff, sports medicine, and generally there was one coach that was off the road all the time. And so there's one coach, and it's called tagging, but, so a coach comes off the road, a coach tags him, he goes on the road. So you have guys coming on and leaving, but it's just really the strength staff. As something else that's really big is academics, because finals are right around the corner.
Yeah.
We know how that is.
Don't forget about that.
Yeah. And you got to train. You just can't take time off. And I would fight for every second of the day that I could have the guys train with us, because again, it's important that you get a good concentrated block of strength loading. You've got to sprint. You've got to rehab guys. So you can't lay off. And then you schedule as much individual player development as you can. The receivers would get together and throw at least the bare minimum of catching balls in the jugs machine. The D-line would go out and do a little work together. The O-line would do a little work together. Now, I was never a big fan. Some coaches like to practice on the weekends when you have official visits. I never liked that because it was hard to get in the flow of things, and it made me have to cut back on the work that I needed to do, not wanted, but the work I needed to do, because when you take the field for bowl, and the way we did it also is we limited our preparation to 14 practice days. No matter what the NC2A gave you, we wanted to limit it to 14 practice days. And some coaches want to do extra, but there's a lot of moving parts in this.
I'm so glad you brought up the tagging situation, right? Because people I don't think they truly understand what happens when it comes into bowl preparation sometimes and how bowl season goes. Like forever, we've always seen, and everybody knows it's pretty famous at this point, like, oh, you get Saban in the playoffs, you get full Saban. And all of a sudden, Saban goes to a quote-unquote lesser of a bowl game and they get beat by someone. And you're like, oh, what happened? I guess this team should have been in this conference. And look, it's not to say that teams cannot compete. It's not to say any of that. But I don't think people understand. Sometimes when you get I don't know, I'll throw a name out there. Let's say you get an 11-1 Kansas State team. What looks better?
Yeah.
Our coaches on the road right now, or we do put everything we can into beating this Alabama, this LSU team, because that's what's going to help us on the recruiting trail more than all of us going and we just get blown out in this game. And people don't understand that that's a real thing.
And on the other end, that all the LSU or the bigger conference guys, they're on the road.
Those guys have to get on the road.
Right.
Because whether you like it or not, if you're not in this playoff game, that's what you're playing for. That's what your job is for. That's what we got to get to. So how do we get there? Well, we got to get back on the road.
And you have to re-recruit your own players.
Yes. That's the big thing right now, right? It's like you have to make sure some of these guys are happy, whether it's NIL, whether it's whatever they need. Talk about a plan in place for them getting on the field next year. But before we go, breaking news. I don't know if this is breaking. It's breaking to me. I'm just now seeing it. But Corey Raymond is no longer the secondary, the defensive backs coach at Florida.
That's weird.
He's been let go. The rumor is, for the last couple of weeks, is he is.
Didn't sound like he'd be a man without
Seems
a job
like
for
he's
long.
coming back here. There was a rumor for a couple of weeks. Now you don't have to go out and get him.
Oh, wait, he got fired?
Mm-hmm. Released.
No kidding.
That's what I'm reading right now. LSU also just got a defensive tackle commitment, JUCO DT, from Georgia. Formerly at Georgia and Louisiana native, has committed to LSU as well.
Oh, they've been looking at him for a long time.
He just committed. So they must have just said, okay, we're ready to pull the trigger on you. Here's your offer. But, yeah, so Corey Raymond, co-DC and D-line coach Sean Spencer and secondary coach Corey Raymond they have parted ways. Is how it was.
This is
Bruce Feldman. Bruce Feldman still out there.
Well, he's a big I don't know if this is breaking news either, but Bruce Feldman is usually pretty tight in the LSU circles, so not surprised.
I think that has something to do with Coach
O guy,
yeah.
But so was Raymond. I mean, they run in similar circles or did for a long time.
And look, not saying that
I'm
is
just drawing
coming,
some conclusions,
right? Not saying he is coming, but that has been a rumor the last couple of weeks. We shall see.
And now when you talk about recruiting coach and hitting the road, you're about to see LSU go after some potential guys in Florida because Corey Raymond's calling card was recruiting, so now you talk about tagging people in. Whoever was in charge of that part of the state.
Yeah, it's a crazy game. Huh?
You might be getting I'm
like, look at his face right. He's trying to process.
I know he's trying to process.
I'm like trying to process
because he's. There's not much. There's not a better recruiter. Not many better recruiters than.
There's not much better of a defensive backs coach as well.
Right.
Like the guy's really good at what he does.
Stunned.
Him and Frank. I mean, they pretty much have a stronghold down here. Yeah. So. Maybe you reunite them. Maybe that helps. There is also a rumor that LSU could be going after the recruiting guy from A&M. That is also a rumor that I've heard floated around.
It's open season.
They need to go after the guy with all the money at A&M.
Yeah.
How do we get him?
Let's get that guy.
The guy on the field with the big check.
The guy that wrote big.
Let's go get that guy.
How we get him on?
But when you just real quick,
go ahead.
When you talk about even whether it be coaches or because I think that's kind of part of it too. When you're trying to prepare for a bowl game and you feel like you don't know what your future is, like whether you're being tagged in to recruit, how do you think coaches handle that whenever I don't know what my future is here, but you want me to go out and kind of sell the program a little bit?
Yeah. So I'm not going to name any names.
You've been a lot of places. It could be anybody.
Yeah. So I had a coach come up to me and he was like, "This is crazy." He says, "Man, I can't believe I hadn't gotten a raise." And I was thinking to myself, I can't believe you're still on our staff.
Two different ways of thinking.
Yeah. And then he said, "Well, I'm not he said, I'm on the road recruiting, but I'm not going to wear any purple and gold or anything that says LSU until I get a raise. And I was like, man, are you kidding me? You know, like.
How are you recruiting?
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I mean, it's crazy because now coaches, granted, coaches are put into some ridiculous predicaments, you know, especially in this day and age. But so to answer your question, it's crazy right now with the NIL, the transfer portal. Luckily, during this time that, you know, at least you know that the head coach is secure, more than secure, and everybody on offense is secure. So it's a tough predicament right now for a lot of coaches that are being sent out on the road and they don't know. Like, I've been around guys and they're like, I can't believe I'm going on the road, and they won't even tell me if I'm even going to have a job. Well, that was the way it was last year,
Right.
you know, and that was the good thing about the strength staff getting let go was, and I wanted to know, like, I kept trying to have meetings with Coach Kelly. I wanted to know our fate because I didn't want my coaches to be stuck here and not be able to get a job in February because they all filled up. And so, you know, that you're in a tough position when you've got a wife and 2 or 3 kids.
Yep.
And you don't know if you're going to have a job or not.
And
you know?
especially somebody like you that could potentially help them get a job. Or like, I don't care if it's me but if it's the guys that, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit responsible for. I want to be able to.
Exactly. Yeah, I knew that I was going to be okay, but I wanted to make sure that my guys that were, and I told my staff, I said, guys, I'm telling you, you better start looking for a job. And they were like, no, Coach, we're going to be fine. They're going to keep us. And I said, listen, man, I'm telling you, they're not going to keep anybody around here. You better start looking for a job. And my staff didn't understand that. So I thought, well, the only way for me to find out was to try to have meetings with the head football coach. And then when I realized that he was not going to sit down with me and talk to me, I went back downstairs. I said, guys, you better start looking for a job.
I am too.
Y'all got kids, and y'all need it. I'm good.
Right.
You know? But you guys need to start looking for a job.
Right.
And so, you know, and then ultimately the axe fell. But the good thing about it is all of my guys got better jobs than what they had here. Not that it was at better universities, but they all moved up the ladder.
The opportunity for them.
Yeah, they all got better jobs. In fact, one of them is now the associate director of strength and conditioning for Texas A&M. He went to Duke, you know. So Jeremy Jacobs is now going to have a job at Duke, you know. So everybody, I mean, at Texas A&M. So everybody got better jobs. Unfortunately, there's people that don't get that liberty.
Right.
And so it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough for a football coach right now, especially when you don't know, you know, where you're going to be for Christmas and, you know.
Yeah. Some of these jobs, some of these like openings, they take a long time to fill.
Yeah.
Right? Some of them, they go into January, which now with the early signing period, you're starting to see less of because you want to have a guy in place before that. Mississippi State hires Lebby from Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And A&M hired Mark Stoops apparently and then said, never mind.
How do you know that that's true?
I don't. This is all speculation. It's allegedly, but there are reports. You know how reports are. They're coming out saying, hell, they hired him. Usually when something like that happens, though, with pretty prominent reporters, there's some truth to it. You know, whether or not he was actually hired. Like, I've heard rumors where he was actually on the tarmac in A&M. And they said, never mind, go back. And they hired Elko. Regardless, I think Elko is the better hire. Not saying that Mark Stoops is not a capable coach, but you know, Elko's got ties to A&M. You know, he's done really well at Duke when he was in the short time that he's been there. So I think that's a good hire. And Lebby going to Mississippi State, I feel like is a pretty good hire, even though Rogers put himself in the portal today. So what do you feel about those two? I know.
He might he probably should be entertaining coming back because he thrived so much in that Mike Leach offense, and this is a guy that runs a similar system.
Right. So what's your feelings? I don't know if you know much about those guys, reputation-wise, but as far as getting coaches, I assume that A&M spent so much money firing Jimbo and the staff around Jimbo that you didn't feel like they could go out and get a guy for $10 million a year.
Yeah.
Like you had to get this type of guy.
I do know because I have a former colleague that works at Duke. He loves Coach Elko.
I heard nothing but great things, right?
Loves him. Down to earth.
Defensive guy?
But he loves him. Super positive, stays calm, has a cool head about him all the time, has a very positive outlook, great disposition, type of guy you want to work for.
Yeah.
I do not know anything about Coach Levy, who got the job at Mississippi State. Don't know anything about him at all. And as far as Mark Stoops goes, I'm sure he's just like his brother. You can tell he's fiery, passionate, enthusiastic, energetic, defensive-minded coach, just like the whole family is. But that's about it. I think as far as the conference goes, though, I think the conference got better. I think the Western Division has gotten better.
Yep.
And if you look at the records,
no divisions anymore next year, but in the
another
the normal,
change that we're gonna have to get used to.
Yeah,
It's just all one big SEC.
The new Oklahoma and Texas, they're just making it a free fall. I'm glad they kept the LSU Alabama game though.
And A&M is so now you're gonna get to know Elko very well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I had one for you just because we talked a little bit about this is going back to obviously it being it's kind of a two-parter for LSU on senior day or senior night. What is that kind of week leading up to whenever whether it be a junior or senior leaving, but that practice going into that week when you have an idea of guys that are going to go? Do you kind of get a feeling that there's a little bit more to it for that week for them running through the tunnel for the last time?
Yeah, and and it depends. If you have a lot riding on it, it's a good thing. Like this week, you could tell. But there have been times where, you were standing in the chute and you could tell that the guys that were leaving didn't want to be here, and they were glad they were leaving. And, those were bad teams. But the good teams like this team here, and a lot of the teams that I was blessed, Jared and I were both blessed to be a part of, that was a very happy, very joyful moment that the guys, were having. A little somber because they'd put so much effort into it and all that, but you knew that there was a good ending, and so the guys always have a little extra juice, and I like playing A&M. The last game of the year, man, especially, it being senior day. And I like the 11 o'clock kickoff too, man. I love that.
Do you?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Oh, that's his time to shine. Get the boys
LSU's
up.
played very well recently in 11 a.m. kickoffs.
Yeah, I tell you, man, I like that because, there's not much tailgating. So here's the thing. And that's one reason why the fans get upset that there's not good tailgating before the game. But the tailgating after the game, especially after a win, I mean, we stayed there until 8 o'clock.
But that also goes back to playing into what we talked about earlier, in that undefeated at home, when you're able to do that and you grow momentum with that, and now you've knocked off a couple road wins as well.
Yeah.
That 11 a.m. Week 12 game, it still means a ton at that point. And people are still have something to go for at that point.
And I was happy with the crowd. You saw a few empty seats, but
it filled up by about halfway through the first.
Oh yeah, and that's on a Saturday of a holiday, and the fans came out, man. And I will complain a little bit. I was in the shade most of the time, so I got a little chilly.
Come sit on the east side with me, Coach. It was warm as hell.
But I talked to some people. In fact, I saw one guy whose face was red as fire from the game. So, or the bourbon one. I don't know what it was. But it was a beautiful day, man. A beautiful day for senior day. Huge win. 9 wins. I mean, you can't ever sleep on that, man.
Nope.
You can't ever sleep on that.
I got one more for you, just on this end, because I talked a little bit about like juniors or seniors deciding, what they want to do with their future, especially for the juniors. When you go into a bowl game, this has both implications of who's going to sit out, maybe prepare for the NFL draft. When do you start to kind of get that news of like, you start working in the other guys that they let you know, or is it?
Can't imagine there's too many on this team that's going to do that. Maybe Jayden is about it.
I think
preparing for the draft.
Yeah, but I think even with Malik, obviously wants to get the record, but he could play a quarter. And
No, for sure. But like,
that's what I'm saying. When do you start shifting your focus to like, all right, these are the guys that are going to play the majority of the game?
Yeah, that is a question that the coordinators have got to find out. And find out soon. And they honestly, who's not going to play by now.
Yeah.
Because that stuff just doesn't come up overnight. You can start seeing hints of it, by the way the guy carries himself around the building and in meetings, and you get phone calls from parents and, so agents and people talk. So you hear about somebody going to, what they call opt out, from the game, which, I guess I'm old school, man. I could never imagine that ever being the case. But I guess that's the way it is today, But your best players are going to want to play. Your most competitive players are going to want to play. And because they've, the difference between being and I don't know how many millions of dollars, but the difference between a top 10 pick and a second round pick is a lot of money. A lot of money. So those guys, you want to put good tape out there, you got to show them that you're a competitor, that you're not going to tank it when the team doesn't have a chance to make the playoffs in the NFL. That stuff goes with you.
No doubt. All right, can't let you go without talking about. You talked about
today. How sore are you?
I can feel it, like my chest. Incline bench, I hadn't done in a minute.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was with your son, who's a meathead.
Yeah.
And he was putting this weight on the bar, and I felt like I had to. I mean, he was throwing a 100-pound dumbbell bench first set. I said, you gotta give me a little time to get to that, And we had some weight. We pushed it, and I felt really good. It's been a while since I've done that, but I'm feeling the soreness set.
Right?
That's exactly
That's
what I wanted. I'm feeling the soreness set in.
Yeah.
We have the workout the Monday. So this is a nice little screenshot on this TV right here on exactly what happened. So
first day after a holiday.
First day after holiday. Which look. I was in there at 6 a.m., Coach. I was ready.
When Clay called me this morning after y'all finished, he couldn't wait to call me. When he called me and told me y'all worked out today, I was shocked.
Yep, I was in there.
I was like, okay.
I actually was looking forward to it. Like I woke up like early, easy. I was ready to go. This is the schedule. When you sign up and you get the app and you sign up for the Moffit method, this is how it's kind of set up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Obviously, you see the reds on the till Thursday.
Dots at the top of the page.
It shows you if you've done it or not. So Monday obviously is green. You go through it. You have first one is A, and you have B, B, C, C, D, D, which means supersets.
Yes.
So if you have the same letter, you're going from one workout to the other workout with about a minute and a half break in between. My first set was obviously the warm up, neck rotations, the whole deal, which I'm glad I did because I can feel that upper back's a little sore. So I'm glad I loosened that up a little bit. We started off with dumbbell bench press, 4 times 2. That's kind of like a warm up, correct?
Yeah. All right. So here's what I told Clay also. So your warm up set, you can do a warm up set or 2 in addition to the 4 sets of 2.
Okay.
All right. So you don't necessarily have to start at 80%.
That's what I did. That's what I told him.
I know, because you're with Clay. You have no idea how hard Clay has worked to get his bench to where it is today.
Oh, he told me he's not.
Because his arms are so daggone long, and he was a pitcher too. Mm-hmm. So he during the summers at Catholic, he had to worry about throwing, playing those Metro games. So it was tough. Yeah. So he missed that early development. So he's worked hard. But now, here's what. Did you click on the exercise?
I did.
All right, you saw those.
The video?
Well, no, you have the videos. Yes, you saw the videos, but then you had an empty box. Okay, so what you want to start doing is entering your weights in those boxes.
I did that.
Oh, okay, good. All right, good. So that will start calculating your maxes for these things, and you'll have a better idea. So now, as you progress week to week, the weights are going to change. And if you're supposed to do a set of 2 or 3 or 4 and you can't get that entire set, make sure you log in how many reps that you got, because it will either increase or decrease that max for the next workout, so that you're handling an optimal weight versus getting crushed on every set.
So a good example of that is the shoulder press. At that point, I was pretty cooked. So we started with 40s.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm not going to be able to do all 3 sets of 40s. We went to 30 at the end.
Yeah.
And still it was a challenge, but I did it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming over time it's going to read that and say, okay, I had to go down in weight.
And you know that next Monday you're going to start with 30.
Yes.
Well, it depends on who's working out with.
We're starting with 30.
Now, Euclid texted me today. Euclid wants to join the group.
He should come in with us.
Yeah.
Just use it.
Yeah, Euclid.
Well, he's got to sign up for that.
Yes,
Can't
we're
use my
not giving
workout.
anything to Euclid. All right, shout out Redbox Containers.
Yeah. Future client of mine, hopefully.
Yes. So shout out to Euclid and Redbox Containers, but yeah, he can buy his own program.
You got to get out of the jiu-jitsu.
But
He's
now,
doing jiu-jitsu.
and so tomorrow is lower body.
Yep, cleans, hang cleans.
Yes, and some squats.
Some squats.
And some trap bar deadlifts, I think.
Uh-huh.
And then Wednesday you have some abs and some plyos.
Yep.
Thursday you're back to an upper body. Did you see Friday?
Friday is like a
little-
agility, single leg jumps type thing, right?
And so the load, you're not going to be doing as much squatting, because you told me, that you wanted some athletic, you wanted to work on some athleticism. So you got some single leg hops and some other stuff. So a lot of variety. You're touching some strength, some speed, some power. So it's a good, well-rounded program.
I felt good.
And that's what you wanted.
That's exactly what I wanted.
That's what you get when you get the Moffit method.
And I love and not everybody's program is going to be the same, which makes the Moffit method so special, right? Like, I told you what I wanted. You create a program for me, and over time it's going to evolve based off of what I'm doing. Jared may say, I don't want to do any weights. I want to do all conditioning.
Or I don't want to do any squats.
I'm born with an 8-pack. I want no legs.
Back.
Yeah, I want my shoulder pads to get bigger. My shoulders what I want.
I want my shoulders to get wider. I don't
my
want to be able to
legs.
walk into the door.
I want the bird legs and the chicken ankles is what I want. But yeah, so everything's custom. Obviously, you're going to push them. It's up to the person doing the workout to do it and push themselves. So
Don't
that
you be
your
lying
max
on
is-
my app now.
Well,
Well,
Lloyd's the one who said, well, I wouldn't just do that. I would just do lightweight. I'm like, well, then
Come on, Lloyd.
defeats
No,
the-
I
out of
said
it.
if I couldn't do it, I would
wouldn't
lower
do
the
it.
weights. We were
Oh,
talking
okay.
about.
Well, that's smart.
That's not
See,
what
we
he
were
said.
talking about a variation of a different
That's
workout.
not
I
what
used
he
to be a CrossFit guy, and they were in there like, no, you have to prescribe method, which is what got me on this. Was like, it wasn't prescribed to me; it was just whatever was on the board. And I was like, I can't do that, and they didn't care.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it's the best way to say it. That's
That's
tough.
tough. There was. Did you get your 5 a.m. email reminder? Did you?
I did get it.
Yeah.
I was up at 5, so I was
Yeah.
ready. I had to get my coffee. Now, I was telling Clay, I was like, I hadn't taken a pre-workout
Oh God,
in a minute, and I was like, with this,
back on it.
I think I'm gonna have to start. Clay was tasting. I'm about to run through a wall. He I don't know what he took this morning, but
Yeah.
seems like I'm gonna get back
That
on
old
that
Jack
train.
3D.
Yeah, well, not
Yeah.
that.
Skin it.
No,
C4
it's called-
maybe or
yeah.
something.
Pre-workouts have some crazy names.
Explode was
Yeah.
when it was big.
His is called Lit.
Lit. Makes the face itchy. Yeah.
Oh, I saw it. I saw the.
He
the
probably goes
label.
dry with
Yeah.
it too, just straight scoop, no water.
Yeah.
But it was good. I felt good with this
Yeah,
morning.
you might want to. Did you eat any carbs or
I
anything
did.
like that? Yeah,
I
you
did.
want to make sure you have a little bit on your stomach.
Had some
Before
rice
or
and
after?
chicken. Oh, after.
Okay.
After. Not
Oh,
before.
you
Before, I
didn't eat
didn't
anything before?
Drink a
Oh,
cup
really?
of coffee before I worked out.
Cup of coffee. Wow.
That's early for me to eat.
Not even a banana.
I didn't do anything, straight up.
No kidding.
Maybe I'll start doing protein
Or
bars or
try
something.
a gummy. Nah, nothing real heavy.
could do
try
that.
some gummies or something.
Well, not
like
that kind of gummy,
Like,
Lloyd.
come on, Lloyd. Where did you find this guy?
Come on, Lord.
It's legal now.
Where did you
God,
Hey, could you
Pick
imagine?
them up off the street.
Could
obviously.
you imagine this guy being a D1 athlete and showing up in your weight room one day?
No, I would throw him out.
He would
doesn't
just
have
point to the
socks
door
on.
before you walked in.
He doesn't have socks on. I'm throwing him out.
Put some tape over his mouth. I don't need him talking to everyone.
I'm a big locker room guy, coach. I'll get everybody there. I just might not show up. Big on the text early.
Wait, so time out. You're into that because people probably need to know that too. A
Yeah.
little bit of something, maybe some kind of gummies, a banana or something.
Yes,
Before.
yes, you need that.
You're talking about like straight like candy?
No, well,
I've heard
honestly,
people do that.
Any type of simple sugar is good because what's going to happen, so you've basically fasted. Like, when was the last time you ate Sunday night?
Like 7:30.
Yeah, so you went 11 hours without eating. So you basically fasted for 11 hours before you started your
Right.
workout. So your glycogen stores are kind of low first thing in the morning. So you probably wouldn't have been as shot. Even, it doesn't matter how much pre-workout you eat, drink, or how much coffee you drink. At some point, you run out of muscle glycogen, and they're just not going to work.
Right.
They're just not going to move. So a lot of the companies, whether it's Cliff Bar, Hammer Gels, there's a lot of different products that are available that has sugar in it, or just regular gummies.
Yeah.
They have sugar in it. But it's not a bad idea to eat a banana, eat an orange, some orange slices, eat Rice Krispie treat, believe it or not.
Wow.
So I did a great podcast. I mean, it's not going to come out until January with Dr. Matt Frakes, who is the
I've heard of him.
Yeah, Dr. Frakes, who
Yeah.
works at LSU, who's over their performance nutrition department. And, sometimes, and he even prefaced because we were talking about fueling pregame and at halftime of football games and how critical it is to get some simple sugars. And he said, I know people are going to freak out when I say this, but Rice Krispie treats at halftime. Any type of simple sugar, because it's easily digestible, and it's going to give you a little bit of energy later on in the workout. Right. So, yeah, that's why I asked. You need to get a little bit of some carbs. I guarantee you Clay grabs something to eat.
Twizzlers.
Maybe a little
Yeah,
Twizzler.
Twizzler, yeah.
Just some sugar.
Yeah, something that's got
Okay.
some sugar in it.
Okay.
If it's just
tomorrow
as
morning?
easy as a Gatorade, well, who's the sponsor? Gatorade?
Heineken Silver.
Heineken Silver sponsor. Can't be having that.
No,
Weird. Is it weird who answered that one or no?
without hesitation.
Can't
No
be having
socks and
that.
the beer coming into the workout.
No wonder you struggled at CrossFit. You were eating gummies and drinking beer before your workout.
Louisiana way.
If anyone's looking for this, right? Because obviously the holidays, you probably gain a few pounds during Thanksgiving, and you got a couple weeks, and you got Christmas. Perfect Christmas gift for
anyone.
For anyone, whether you're an athlete, young athlete, an athlete trying to make the next jump in college or professionally or wherever, or just somebody who wants to get in shape and feel better about themselves. The MoffittMethod.fit is the website. You can go and you can submit a form. And have some dialogue back and forth with you and some of your coaches on what they want and their targets and their goals. Or you can email at info@themoffittmethod.fit. Look at me, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
impressive.
Info@themoffittmethod.fit.
It's impressive.
They'll
See, the
respond
mind
to you
gets sharp
within-
too when you work out.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Your day
Yeah,
starts
you
off better.
Yeah, it's so much better to start your day off like that. Now, did you go jump in the pool before you left the house this morning?
I've been doing that, but it was cold this morning.
Yeah, 48 degrees.
Yeah, I've been
You're
doing
talking
that a
about
little
wake
bit.
up. You do that, and you won't need a pre-workout.
Fighting for your life.
Yeah, I mean, I want to
go
leave
jump
the
in
house.
the pool. Yeah, go jump in the pool before.
You need
about
an oxygen
after?
tank, but that's
After, for meal or.
No, after like a cold plunge or something like that.
All right, so no, after the workout, because following a workout, you have all of these systems that are churning in the body without getting too technical, these processes that are taking place to recover. Because you've got some microscopic damage in the muscles, so they're replenishing with all the proteins, and you have all these hormones and stuff. When you jump in a cold tub, and the first thing we used to do with our players a long time ago is put them in cold water immersion immediately following. Now, some of that was to cool them down, but it slows down the recovery process and can stunt some of the gains that you're going to make in strength and speed and power from your training. So what you want to do is do sauna or steam, something like that.
I did.
Yeah.
I love me the sauna. I love good sauna.
And get you a balanced meal, 30, depending on your weight, 30 to 40 grams of protein. So a lot of protein.
So like a protein shake after.
Immediately following the workout, like you could go get the Core Power 42 gram at your local convenience store.
Check
It's
the
42
expiration
grams.
drank
Yeah.
Got me last time.
He drank an
Is
expired
that what
shake.
got you
Yeah.
last time? Yeah.
Oh, it's got the milk in it. I didn't know it was expired. I just
Yeah.
ripped that thing open and chugged it.
Yeah. That's right. You were white. As you remember when you weren't here, Jared.
Hey, he threw up 3 times on the show.
Hey,
You know what?
warrior,
He
though,
was
coach.
long. He was gone for a long time, and Mikey and I were just
I
sitting here.
was trying to end the show. I was like, I guess we got to hold on until Lloyd gets back.
He comes back. He's white as a ghost.
I knew I couldn't hide it
He
anymore.
goes,
I got a confession.
I just threw up. It was hilarious. But yeah, check the expiration date. Get about a minimum of 40 grams of protein in you, or a smoothie, or 5 or 6 eggs.
Yeah.
Something with protein in it, some carbs, and another cup of coffee. And you'll be rolling for the rest of the day.
I was rolling today. I had a good day. I was felt real energetic. It was nice to kind of get the weights back. It's gonna be a journey. We're gonna be able to go through this together on the show every week. We're gonna see it.
See, we won't see the beginning picture, but I'm sure we'll see the after.
No,
that's okay.
I'll show y'all both, but we're gonna waste
in
some
due
time.
time.
We're gonna do some time
So,
for that.
the Christmas season, so when I pulled up here, I was texting with a coach that's ordering our sprint program for his son. So, so it's the Christmas time, birthdays, Christmas. It's not just for kids, and it's not just for adults. It's for anyone.
The
except
Moffit
for
method,
Lloyd.
except for Lloyd.
except for
The Moffit method.
That's
Fit.
fair.
That's fair.
That's where you find it. That's where you
I thought
find
I
the
proved my
program.
resolve last week. I mean,
Oh,
I could
you
get
did.
through
Oh no,
it.
you did like puke and rally, but just the workout part, I don't know how that would work out.
Puking rally.
It's the same thing. As long as you got a trash can, I'll just let it go, and I'll come
Fair
back.
enough.
Hey,
We've seen plenty of
you
that.
looked rough.
Tough.
It.
I don't know if I would actually prescribe you back to finish that workout after looking
He
like
was white as a ghost.
Tough tickets.
It was. I was Casper in here, but I
but-
battled for an hour and a half.
You did. I was
It fun.
impressed. I was very happy that you did it. We made it a decent amount of time on the show. 7:30, so it's good.
It just wasn't over yet.
But as always, I look forward to the Moffit Method Mondays. I look forward to these conversations. Obviously, we talk football. We talk really everything. You're just an extra person on the show, and then we talk about how to better your life, which I think is a good thing. It's always important. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. We'll see you next Monday.
Next Monday, absolutely.
Perfect. Love that.
Wouldn't
Yep,
miss it
keep
for you.
setting me up.
Thank you.
Peace
Yeah.
out. Jay Mitch, it just wasn't the same without you last week.
I know. I was way up in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
That was a
Don't ever
mistake.
Do that again.
If there's one thing that you need to understand, don't ever do that again.
My bad. That's my bad.
The great state of Tennessee.
The great state of Tennessee. That was my fault. Won't happen again. Thanks, Coach. You're the best. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. That was a slip up. That was my bad.
That's all right.
I knew it was Tennessee. I knew it
is
was
the
Tennessee.
best.
I'm glad it came out as a joke though, because it was great.
I always expect the big strength coach slap on the back from him. So
And he gives it to you every
I
time?
always get just braced for it.
Yeah.
He either does it or doesn't. So
Hey,
I'm scared.
I'm not-
Goes over your flexing.
I do a flex up every time.
Hey, I'm not joking when I say like this morning. It was like when we were doing like the press and like.
Oh, because you're back to real like weight training.
Right, and I hadn't really done
with proper time, so you're using proper weight.
Right, and I hadn't done it in a while, but like you could feel it. You know, like when you're pushing heavy weight, you can like feel it, like damn, in your wrists and like your arms, and like, boy, this is gonna be good. Yeah. But the first couple weeks are gonna suck. Tomorrow's gonna suck. Yeah. Tomorrow's gonna suck.
No. Waking up Wednesday's gonna suck.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the 2 day, the second
Thursday's
day soreness. You'll have the
probably.
lower day soreness, and then Thursday getting back in there. That's gonna be tough.
And you're hitting upper body again.
Yeah, I could do.
So you need to ask him if you change that thing around, man. You know how we used to do that thing where it's hit me with the lower. No, hit me with the lower first. That way, when I get to Friday, I'm not over here trying to do lower body on Friday. That's tough.
But you didn't. But the lower body on Friday is not weights. I'd rather.
That's the dynamic stuff. Yeah. It's the plyo stuff.
If I had to do lower body yesterday or today, I mean, after the weekend.
Well, that's first day though, too.
That's what I mean. But it was.
Get me back in there.
I would not want to do it. Yeah, we're good. All right. Let's get to the seggies.
I know I have so much more LSU football to talk.
I know we have all week.
Party. Yes.
What do you want to talk about?
No.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
We have a lot coming. Look, Corey Raymond's a free agent now. Seems like the rumors that him coming to LSU are starting to come to fruition because now you don't have to go buy him out. You don't have to get him. You know, seems like it's kind of falling into place there. You'd imagine that's probably going to happen before
the end
next weekend. Because signing day is obviously the 6th on Wednesday. You want him to have some opportunity to go out and either flip some guys or keep the guys here.
These things move quickly.
Very quickly, right? Like 24 hours maybe. I don't know for facts. Like nobody's told me this is what's happening. It's just kind of feel the writing on the wall. You see the writing on the wall. You kind of feel the energy of what's about to happen. That seems like that's about to happen. So much more LSU football to have a conversation about. It is my brother-in-law's birthday today.
I know. It's okay. It's worth it.
He turned 21.
He's a good dude.
21, they say, huh?
So anyway, finally can drink.
So they say.
Finally. He's held out.
Sober on stage that whole time.
In college and fraternities, never had a sip of alcohol.
Yeah.
Respect.
Very respectable.
You didn't drink in college?
Didn't.
Well, that's not what Paul thinks.
No, that's what he knows. He had to make an example.
Yeah, right.
I like a dumbass volunteered for the example.
Yeah, so, you're being a good team player.
Yeah.
Mistake of the day is brought to you by our friends at Doe's Eat Place. What you got today? We got a few. Did y'all see the Oklahoma deal?
I mean
them running out and falling.
Yes, that was an early mistake. That's how long
hilarious.
It's been. That was on the docket. I sent that obviously on Saturday, but now we've had the Texas A&M thing, and then the one that I wanted to highlight was Sports Illustrated has stepped into it once again. Once a great publication that I look forward to reading and was a subscriber to, Old School Magazine.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
Like, I would actually learn something. I felt like I was being a smarter person that made you want to be in athletics, and I knew what I was talking about. It is now resorted to being run by ChatGPT, and they got busted. Wow. So, when you look at the Doe's Eat Place mistake of the day, obviously Texas A&M is also going to be on the docket for this, whatever the fuck I just watched, going over there. But when you look at the new writers for Sports Illustrated, who's this man? That's not a real image. That is a chat. That is an AI bot.
What?
Arthur that they came up with, whose bio reads that he loves to spend time away from his family. No, loves to spend time alone in the woods, loves forestry, and loves hunting and fishing. So you can't find this guy with a map if you wanted to. And when he's not there, he likes to spend time on the family farm. So they made a bio for this man to where if you wanted to get in contact with him, he's already a missing person. You can't find him. And then they have an AI
single, not married, I guess.
Right, of course, just kind of a loner. And then they get called out by a guy on Twitter who's a very reputable.
Nice jawline.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to bring up, you know.
I mean, we AI generated him, right?
Right, perfect jawline.
Now gotta make a gremlin.
Right, but it was Futurism that had busted this story, and Futurism.com, and it has been like published by a bunch of people now. Sports Illustrated has been publishing stories written by AI and attributing them to AI writers that don't exist. Profiles for fake authors used AI-generated headshots and made-up bios. When asked about it, all content was deleted off of Sports Illustrated. So they just haven't answered any questions about it. They just took people down. After this man was found to be a fraud, they replaced him with her.
Is she real?
Also AI-generated.
Wow.
And so they tried to run this gambit to not pay anybody and put up these just kind of fluff articles, and now they've been exposed, and Sports Illustrated seems to be going into the dumper.
Wow, that's tough.
Oof, that
We
might
knew
be
this-
one of your best ones yet. That's,
that's
tough right there.
I mean, yeah, it had
That's a bad look right
Boy,
there.
that's tough, man.
And that's how we go live. We're real. Everything you see here.
Real. I mean,
Real.
we can't fake this.
No,
Can't fake this. Can't fake the beautiful hair that Lloyd's got.
can't fake
Crazy.
a lot of things.
Can't
here.
fake a lot of things.
That's crazy.
AI doesn't throw up on the show.
No.
No AI here.
And also, as somebody that used to want to be in sports media as a writer, tough look for your
There's
job.
been a couple tough looks, right? Them and then
What's I'm saying? They're trying to
Carissa
replace
Thompson
you.
had the whole thing where, I've made up which look.
That was taken out of context.
I think I was taken out of context for sure. Like, do I make up? Yeah. Like, it's not like I'm making some random story up. I'm just giving the general stuff that I'm probably going to hear from the coaches if I can't get in touch with them.
And I never got the interview from the coach. So
Right.
they're going to put the camera in front of me. What do you want me to do?
No, yeah, it was taken out of context. Which if what was reported is exactly what she said, then that's not good. But I don't think that was the case.
right.
So,
And then they had, I forget who does the sidelines on Sunday night or Monday night. They went down for a field report, and she talked about the fact that Taylor Swift was not there. It's like, so you didn't interview a coach. But we have some news about the people that are in the game or not at the game. Like, so
yeah,
what would you rather hear about? I think we need to tackle a little better. Or, hey, Taylor Swift's not here.
tackle probably.
Yeah, just give me like a little
What
run
adjustments
fit.
are you gonna make it have
Yeah.
fun? Yeah.
Lock in for pop
That was a
culture.
good mistake of the day. That was one of your better ones.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that one.
And then we also have this one, just for,
Shits and gigs.
I mean, buddy.
Hey, I mean, some would say this is the perfect fit. Not every hire does this, right? The whole family's up
Elko
there
doesn't look very happy about doing it, though.
doing the sway. Unbutton the jacket, though, maybe.
I don't think he. I mean, he should have done. Look at the yell leaders right in front. Can't miss them.
That's tough.
Look at the grown man right in front.
This guy, the yell leader was.
Oh, that guy's cutting the check with that big old bald head.
That's unbelievable.
He's tall as shit.
Probably was a former player.
Probably.
Do you think Bob Stoops saw that and was like,
Mark
Stoops, not big game Bob. Never.
Bob might have saw it too. And been
Bob
like,
and say, Mark, good,
You
you
dodged
dodged a
a
bullet.
You're good.
Dodged a
You don't wanna do
bullet. All right.
Um,
Curtain calls.
Curtain calls.
Brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners.
that. And
Me. What we got today, boys?
I'm going to give it to, I spoke about it a couple times already, but I do think it is a pillar, a very important part of being able to build a program. And that's obviously what we already knew was going on here. There was building that had to be done. You have an opportunity to get to your second 10-win season with a bowl win. But I'm going to give it to this LSU football team for being able to complete a undefeated home slate this year, right? It's important. It builds momentum. It builds all the theatrics that you want when people show up on Saturday to what is an eventual filing into Tiger Stadium to watch a football game, and or maybe not. Maybe the 200,000 that don't go in and watch the football game. It's important to be able to show up in Death Valley and have wins and have people feel like that's what they're showing up for. So I'm going to give it to LSU, and my curtain calls to LSU this year for being able to complete that.
Nice. Lloyd, you got one?
Yes, I do. Mine goes to, obviously, a lot of heat is going around David Carr. And when you have this man on the bench, we can't play the audio because it will
Derek.
get flagged.
David or Derek?
Carr. It doesn't matter at this point. And you have the ultimate hype man over here just rapping to Ludacris, trying to get your boy fired up. And David wants nothing of it. But long live Jameis Winston, because all-time
Vibe guy.
locker room
Great.
guy.
We need him on the team. Gotta have him on the team. No doubt. My current call is twofold. One, I think that, LSU went 9-3 this year, obviously. Jared touched on that. They have a chance to win 10 games. My current call is to the season that we got to experience with Jayden Daniels. I know it kind of went there's a little bit of a blemish on it because of the defense and because they lost 3 games and all of these types of things. But what he did this season should not be taken for granted. The fact that we got to watch another quarterback be able to mature and grow and develop his talents here at LSU and potentially win the Heisman. He should win the Heisman. I think that anybody that sees if it's anything but records, he's the Heisman winner. But to see a guy come here, transfer from another school, embrace this place, embrace Tiger State, embrace Baton Rouge, and have a good season year one, and still have some people who questioned his ability and can he do this, can he do that, and have a legendary record-breaking season in year two, and hopefully finish it off with a Heisman. To me, that is about as good of a curtain call as you can have, because just don't take for granted what we got to see. We saw something special, and hopefully he gets rewarded for it. My other curtain call is we may be getting some help. A friend of ours, friend of Jared's, friend of Louisiana, some would say. Hopefully is coming back to LSU. Obviously nothing's set in stone, but he is a free agent, and Corey Raymond. But the big curtain call for us right now is Jayden Daniels.
And to sidebar the curtain call for Jayden Daniels, it is somewhat self-gratifying for the show that we called keep him there to be able to play well. I think we can all sit here and say, like, I'm not exactly sure what we saw is what we thought we were going to get, right?
This is the absolute ceiling.
We can be candid and sit here and tell you that what we got was even far and above what we thought we would be getting.
Yeah.
But we knew he was the guy for the job this year.
No doubt.
And it's pretty cool to see that it's gotten to this point for him.
Yeah, but we let off most of the conversation about we expect him to make a leap. We're like, not a Joey Burrow type leap. Like,
right.
We're like,
And
they were like, turns out that's what he did.
The truth of the matter is that if there was a 15th game to be played for him, you may be looking at more touchdowns than what Joe did.
No doubt.
Look,
Joe played 3 extra games.
Yeah. That's pretty fair.
He would have thrown for 5,000 yards if he just makes, if he has an SEC championship game and one playoff game, he's getting to over 5,000 yards.
If he played the bowl game, he'd throw for 5,000 this year. He's not going to.
And there's one thing, too. Like, we talked about it pre-show, but there's been 4 other SEC quarterbacks to be responsible for 50-plus touchdowns. 3 of them are 1-1 overall picks, and the other one was a first-round pick as well. Right, you got Tim Tebow, all Heisman winning trophy winners. You got Tim Tebow, you got Cam Newton, you got Joe Burrow, and you got Bryce Young. And looking like you'll have a 5th one.
No doubt.
If he didn't win the Heisman, it's gonna be.
If it doesn't win the Heisman, I think it's ridiculous.
It's bullshit. That's all we got for you today. We'll be back live Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Ask Mikey and Mitch.
Ask Mikey and Mitch on Wednesday. Hopefully, we're gonna start segueing into some other sports. Still have a lot of LSU football talk and conversation.
Especially with news
I'm
like
sure
this.
there's gonna be a lot of news over the next 2 days. Recruiting for early signing period is next Wednesday. So we're gonna
the 8th.
It's the 8th.
December
So
8th.
that would be next Friday.
Signing days are usually like a Friday at school.
Yeah. So we'll have some conversation probably early next week about what we can expect over the course of that week. Things are probably going to start getting crazy. Transfer portal season. We're going to have all those updates, but we're going to start segueing into some baseball conversation. Hopefully we get some baseball talk on Wednesday. We'll stay tuned for that. We'll let you know who is going to be on the show. But it is Ask Mikey and Mitch on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Enjoy this cool, brisk weather because it's been very enjoyable. And
It's hot in the stadium.
Yeah.
East side had the sun beaming.
Make sure you
on it.
hydrate all this food and alcohol this weekend. You got to keep hydrated through the week.
Yeah, don't stop drinking.
Don't stop drinking water. We'll be back on Wednesday. Enjoy your Monday. Peace.
See you.
There you go.